Well, any other things here before we switch on over to the real division of the AFC?
West?
No, no, no.
Oh boy.
The
Well, if
AFC
you guys
South. Wrong. Welcome to this new Third and Wrong video you just clicked on. We got Gage, we got Mikey, and we got me, Dylan, here today. And we're going to be bringing you a divisional and conference wrap-up for the AFC. And so we're going to be going through all those divisions, AFC North, East, South, and West in order. And then we're going to be giving you our predictions for the AFC playoffs at the end as well. But, give you a little bit of, some information about each team in a condensed formation for you. But, Mikey, before we get into this video, how are you doing today?
Great. Never better. I'm out of the basement, dude, so I started from the bottom. Now
Hell yeah. Gage, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. We just I'm a commissioner of a fantasy league with these two chumps in it, and that's my biggest mistake. Don't ever be a commissioner. Anything you do, everyone questions everything. They can be the dumbest little things. It's just fun. But I love fantasy, so it's worth it.
Hey, mine was not dumb.
All right. Well, if you are doing fantasy football and you have a creative fantasy football name, drop that in the comments right now. Do that real quick,
Please,
and we'll pick our favorite.
We had a new guy come into the league, and he switched his name quickly to Unsolicited Dak Picks. So
no,
that one's winning so far.
But yeah, put those in the comments, and we'll pin the best one. But before we get into this video, we're gonna drop our little intro, and after that, you get to watch this beautiful video.
Boy.
And welcome back. And I forgot to say before that intro, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Helps us out. We're a small channel, just a small 100 or so subscribers, but we're on the up and up, and hoping that you guys can help us out there. But we are going to be starting off with one of the most violent and storied divisions here with the AFC North. Gage, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's a bloodbath. I swear, it was.
Okay, I'm going to take these off.
It just gets better every year. You had the Steelers who ran the division for a long time with the Ravens, and then they kind of looked like they were going to fall off with Big Ben, and they didn't really do it. And then the Bengals got really good, and the Browns are getting better. So now it's sneakily probably one of the toughest divisions in football. On an unfortunate standpoint for a fan as myself is the Browns. But we do have some
Yeah. So I was going to say, well, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to give you basically the reasons for each team's success this season and reasons that they might not get that success this season. So Gage is going to break that down for the AFC North because he's a Browns fan. And he's an expert in that division.
So I'll start it off with last season's winners, the Cincinnati Bengals. We got a couple keys to success. Joe Burrow. It's simple as that. I mean, as long as that guy is healthy, he's got that calf strain right now. If he plays, I think it's probably a sure lock that they'll win the division. I think it's kind of hard to. They're the team that doesn't have the question marks. They're the team that you know what you're getting when you're going in. They've got a really good team. That offense has been clicking like it always should. They kept their defensive coordinator who's got that defense really rolling. I mean, the keys to success, doing what you guys have been doing. And then the last key to success kind of goes into the key, potential reasons why you guys can fail this year is that offensive line. You guys put a lot of money into it this offseason. They built up. They're trying to protect Joe Burrow, trying to give him that extra time. So if that offensive line does great, you guys will, maybe take even another step forward. And if it doesn't do as good that you guys have been hoping, that could cause some problems for them later on. I think the only other one is health. I mean, that's pretty basic, but I don't see how the Bengals can't be good this year. I think I don't know how you guys are feeling about them, but I think it's going to be pretty straightforward and set that the Bengals are going to be at least 10 to 12 wins minimum.
Yeah, they got one of the better defensive coordinators, and when you tie that with a explosive offense, it's just a real I guess plan for success. Like that's what you need. So
Yeah. Mikey D, you have anything to say about the Bungles? The Bungles.
The only thing I really have to say about them is I just think it's funny how you used to say that Zach Taylor wasn't going to be able to do it.
I still don't think he's
Where
a
we
great
are
coach.
now.
I still don't think he's a great coach. I'll stand by that. I think that he is saved by Joe Burrow, which is totally fine. As long as he does good management. He is letting Joe Burrow do what Joe Burrow does. So I'll give him credit where it's due. But it was looking like he was a bum for a while.
Yeah, well, they all got to start somewhere. But no, you pretty much nailed the Bengals on the head, or the nail on the head.
I guess we'll keep it with the Bees. We'll go with the Cleveland Browns next. We'll just go in alphabetical order. I mean, it's pretty simple. Deshaun, I won't start there. Nick Chubb, how does he work in this new offense? How is he going to work in the new offense with Deshaun Watson? It's been obvious that we've been a very power zone run scheme team for a while. You stack the box, and you've got a good chance to stop us, and hope that Chubb doesn't break out. Another key to success: this new defense led by Jim Schwartz, and we got rid of Joe Woods, who was an absolute bum. Everybody knew it. The players wanted to stop playing for him. Jadeveon Clowney basically said, "I'm not playing unless it's this play. Deal with it," and that was apparently acceptable and allowed under Jim Schwartz or Joe Woods. So that's going to be a key to success. Can this defensive line step up? Because we put a lot of investment and money into it, and we were terrible against the run, and it looks like that can be a lot better. It's a point of emphasis this season. So that'll be one reason. Nick Chubb is the second reason. The third reason, I guess we'll just kind of keep it short to 3 reasons per, is also another one of those yes or no ones. Could be the reason why we succeed, could be the reason why we fail. Deshaun Watson. Football side of Deshaun Watson he's an incredible player, and there's no reason why he couldn't go back to what he was when he was playing. It wasn't like the reason why he declined is because he got injured. He just he was away from football. So I know there's a lot about him, so we don't talk about it too much, and it's kind of difficult to say anything positive about him. But when he was playing, like that dude was up there with top 5 with Mahomes and Brady. Like who's that guy? Who's going to be the next guy? Like those were the 2 guys. So if he can go out and play, and he doesn't have to play that hero ball now because we've got a good team, we've got a great offensive line, we've got Nick Chubb, we've got a good receiving core for him. Like he just has to go out there and play like a top 12 quarterback, like we got that year with Baker, and we've got a team that can make the playoffs. So if he doesn't do that, we're going to suck. That's just what it is. Another thing for us not being good, as dumb as it sounds, Cade York, our kicker. Sorry, I'm getting my food handed to me. Let's go. Cade York, as dumb as it sounds, we are in a win now mentality, and you've got a kicker that mentally apparently can't handle it. So that's another reason that I think we can be losing games. But for the Browns, I mean, that's really it. Like it's a pretty simple team, and it's a pretty unknown. It comes down to the quarterback. We've already known the Browns have had a stacked roster. They've had a lot of problems. They seem to have all fixed that with the defensive line. And you've just got the quarterback. What's going to happen? I don't know how you guys are feeling about him, but
well, with Deshaun Watson, I have a lot of experience watching Deshaun Watson play against the Colts, and honestly, he is a good quarterback. He proved me wrong. I didn't think he was going to be all that much when he came out, and I'll admit that I was wrong on that. Again, we are third and wrong. But
that was by design too.
That was by design. But no, the thing with Deshaun Watson is, he's really good. But he has been out of real like football for a few years. I mean, he did play last year, obviously, but he wasn't just the rock star that he was when he had D Hop and just everyone kind of all clicking on offense. Will Fuller, and so I don't think there's any reason why he can't get back to that. The only thing is the Browns need to have a explosive offense and not just a good run game to get where they want to go. And I think Deshaun Watson is capable of that. I think Amari Cooper is capable of that. I think Elijah Moore still has to prove that he can fit in an offense like that. But there's a lot of pieces there. It's just the Browns are the least proven in that division, and it's
biggest
the hardest
unknown
team to really pin down where they're going to be, especially with the Steelers and the Ravens kind of coming back from their lulls. So,
Michelle, got nothing.
Beautiful.
All righty. And then we'll move it to the Ravens. Yeah. No, in the fridge. The Ravens. Is it dumb as it sounds? Health is 1 through 10 for them. I mean, they've had 2 years or 3 years now with Lamar Jackson, where it is just injury ridden, or you have your cornerbacks that all drop down, and not just like your main starters, like your backups and then their backups. Or you have an offensive line and your running backs disappear. Like, they have had not just injuries, but like decimation of their team year in and year out. The next is Lamar playing a little bit more consistent. That's another key for success for him. He got his new deal. He's got a new offensive coordinator. He's been kind of limited with Greg Roman. I think that's kind of been known for a while now. So they've got that new offense, and Todd Monken is known to let the ball fly a little bit. I do think that he won't be the way he was in Tampa Bay or in Cleveland. He was in Georgia, where they did run the ball a ton. So if they can kind of bring that scheme in and let Lamar kind of do what Lamar does, I think it'll work. The next key to success is kind of reliant on young players. So this is like their key to success or key to failure here. You got a lot of reliance on young players or players that are rookies or coming off of injuries. You got Rashad Bateman, J.K. Dobbins, and Zay Flowers that you need somebody to come up from there and be a big part of the team. Otherwise, it's going to be Lamar and the Hula gang again, whoever they can throw out there. I think Odell Beckham was a nice signing. I don't think it's going to be like he's a huge name, but it's not going to change like everything drastically. Like, he's not like wide receiver one
that he used to be. Interrupting your dinner time.
Nope, you're good. I just got to hand it to me. So that could also be key to failure, because if they are relying again on these guys and they don't succeed, they're kind of in that same boat. And by like not succeeding, they'll be a fringe playoff team to a playoff team that doesn't win a game or only wins one, right? Like, you want to take that next step. You've got that quarterback, and that's what you've got. On the defensive side, they need their young pass rushers to be more contributors. They did really well when they swapped over and they got I'm blanking on his name, linebacker from the Bears, beast, Roquan Smith. Oh, yeah. When they picked him up, their defense turned around last year. And if they can keep that turnaround going with some extra pass rush, I think the Ravens will be much better. I did predict them last year to win the division. I think a regular season team, and overall they're amazing. I just thought that offense, the way that it was ran, they have no chance to win the playoffs. So now that they got a new offense, we'll see how that scheme fits. And that's another reasons for failure for him. Todd Monken, he has not succeeded in the NFL. He's had struggling offenses, and it's not necessarily been great. You don't know how that system is going to work. I know Ravens fans are actually really optimistic, and it looks good, but that is like a big question mark. How is that going to work? Ultimately, I do think that they're, like I said, fringe playoff team, bare minimum. Like, they're really well organization. I don't know how you guys are feeling, but that's kind of my 2 cents on what the Ravens have. But the biggest thing, health. Like, is a huge thing.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I think with the Ravens, they're all pretty consistent. They haven't had a lot of like roster rehaul or anything like that. But like you said, like young players, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers are putting in the work. I'll be interested to see how the running backs do this season too, because they've seemed to always be injured. But
yeah. How you feeling about Lamar, Mikey? I know that there was a time where we thought Lamar could maybe go to the Patriots. I was kind of thinking that when they weren't.
When they weren't paying up the dough.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a hard one to judge because he's really not a great thrower. His pocket presence is kind of trash, and he basically just likes to run. So
Now, if he joined the Patriots, all these things would not be said, and he'd be a.
they would still be said. But he's elite in the regular season, so I'm happy.
How's Malik Cunningham doing over there, buddy?
Dude, he's gonna be great. He's literally Lamar Jr.
Yeah, exactly. But tell us about them Steelers.
All right, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Ooh, shots fired.
Yeah, I hate them. Yeah, let's be fair. Like, they may not like us because care because we've sucked forever, but like, I absolutely hate that team. Yeah. I'm sure it's all in well favor, but they're pretty solid. So their keys to success. I mean, that defense, TJ Watt, if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's dominant. One of the best top 3 defensive players in the NFL. Arguably the best pass rusher. But that defense is just dominant. They suffocate you. But along with that defense is their secondary that is rather lackluster and kind of thrown together and piecemealed, and hopefully it works out with Mika Fitzpatrick carrying, right? But when you've got that incredible pass rush, it makes up for a lot of it. So they did it last year where they win a lot of games just by just beating you, just hitting you hard and constantly pressuring you like they do. The next thing, the key to success, that offensive line. Is it improved? Najee Harris had a terrible year last year and was getting hit behind the line of scrimmage all the time. Is that partially his fault? Yes. Is it a lot of the line's fault, though? Yeah. So if they can increase that offensive line, the game's won through the trenches, that'll help both Najee Harris and then your young quarterback that you're trying to see how that's going to work. And that kind of leads us to our last point for the key to success for him is Kenny Pickett. I'm not a huge believer, if I'm being completely honest. It's going to remind me of Baker Mayfield, had a decent rookie year. Baker actually had a much better rookie year than Kenny Pickett did. Kenny Pickett had a good last few games, but he didn't really play incredible. He does look better this preseason, but it is preseason. So how well is he going to take this team? You can only go as far as your quarterback goes once it gets to the playoffs for the most part. Do you believe in Kenny Pickett? And that'll be your answer on how well they compete. They will always be in there. I mean, they're probably one of the best coached teams in football with Mike Tomlin. I mean, I think that's fair to say. I don't think you can argue with that. But I don't know. How are you guys feeling about the Steelers? I know we're not necessarily high on Kenny Pickett here as a channel, but
well, I would say for the Steelers, I think the bigger thing is who they got for their offensive line, if that's going to make a difference from last year. The only other thing, though, is I don't think the Steelers gave Kenny Pickett much control over what plays he was running or what checks downs he was going to have. And so I feel like with the Steelers, now that they have a full offseason with Kenny Pickett, I think we'll really truly see if Kenny Pickett can handle the offense. He can make the right decisions, make the right checks and stuff like that. And also, George Pickens, I just feel has been brewing for a long time as being one of those players. He just didn't get a whole lot of opportunity last year either. So I think that's going to be the thing to see with their offense.
No doubt in that guy's talent. He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's somebody I wanted the Browns to draft really bad, and of course, the Steelers take him as per usual.
Okay.
How are you feeling about the Steelers, Mickey?
I mean, I think they for sure have the tools. It's just whether they can put it all together, and Kenny Pickett can actually make it happen back there. Because they have Mike Tomlin. Everyone knows Mike Tomlin's a lead. He's been doing it for years. How many times has he had a losing record? Not very many.
0. He's never.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See? So, I mean, it's just getting Kenny Pickett up to speed again and then making sure that he can actually do it at this level in the NFL and see if he can make the plays. And, I mean, having a guy like George Pickens out there, seeing some of the catches he's made during training camp in this preseason, those elite. So, it's just everyone coming together and doing their part and making it happen.
So I think this division is one of the more fun to try to predict because it can go so many ways.
I agree.
Do you go with the status quo and just think that the Bengals are going to win the division? Do you go with the regular season heroes and the Ravens who just dominate the regular season for the most part? Or does that change a little bit? Do you go with the wild card with the Browns who, if Deshaun Watson plays, that team is stacked? Or do you go with the Steelers who, they're coached well and they're kind of underrated? Are people overlooking them a little bit? So I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I think we should kind of pick it together. We've got a three-man group here, so it makes it easy. If we all vote, someone's going to lose out, and so we can have a team. So who do you guys think is going to win the division this year for the AFC North?
The Bengals.
Bengals. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I just think it's going to the Bengals. I think the only way that doesn't happen is if Joe Burrow's calf strain is a lot more severe than what they're saying.
If it's
like Lamar's calf strain. Games. Yeah. If he misses more than 4 or 5 games, then I can see either the Browns or the Ravens stepping up and doing well. The AFC North this year is very front loaded, so they'll play each other at the beginning of the year quite fast. So missing those games in the beginning could be a big deal. So we got the Bengals won. Who's going to finish second?
I'll go with maybe a little bit of a wild card here, but I'm going to say Steelers.
Damn.
Yeah. I feel like they're coached really well. I feel like they've been kind of holding back Kenny Pickett, just making sure that he doesn't make those mistakes early and just kind of limiting him. And I think their offense might surprise a lot of people this year. So I'm going to go with that. It's more of a reach than it is like a sure thing, though. I don't want to make it seem like I think the Steelers are the second best team, but I'm going to go with the Steelers as my number 2 team.
I'm a homer. Yeah. I really believe in Deshaun Watson. I think he's going to be more than.
Here.
I see you.
You're here. I'm thinking the Browns. I think there's a good chance that they can compete and win the division. But Mikey, are you there? Or are you done?
No, I unplugged this other mic over here because I switched to this one because this one picks up less noise. And so I went to just unplug this one so I can get it out of the way because it kind of covers my screen. And when I unplugged it, it turned off my whole sound.
Are you good now?
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you.
So, Mikey, who do you think is finishing second in that division?
Definitely not the Steelers. I can tell you that for free. I'm probably going to go with the Browns.
Okay, so third, Ravens or Steelers?
For me, it's the Ravens. I got Steelers last.
See, logically, that makes sense in my head. But then I'm like, it's the Steelers. There's no way they're going to finish last.
What? They did it last year, didn't they?
No, the Browns did.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys didn't have Deshaun for 11 games.
Yeah.
I'll go Browns third, Ravens fourth.
Okay, so
their defense hasn't been as great as it has been. They lost a lot of fourth quarter games last year too. when they have
I'm on
games.
board with this, Dylan. I'm on board with this because I'm tired of hearing all this Lamar crap. Get him out. Get him out the league.
That pretty much settles it. I do think, though, I do think that this is a 3-team playoff division. I think 3 teams are going to make the playoffs in this division.
That's tough. We got a lot of good divisions in this conference, so
Well,
go
we
over
play the
more.
we're lucky because we play the NFC South and the AFC South, or the NFC North and the AFC South. So we've got
but there are a lot of really good divisions in this conference too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I'm just saying a lot of good conferences that are divisions that are going to be beating each other up, but then also have to play harder divisions as well throughout their year.
Yeah. Well, this might be a good segue because I think the division for me that would do that is the AFC East. We're going to take down this terrible set of logos here and switch it to this beautiful set of logos here for the AFC East. This is your division. You're the expert here. Do you want to give us the keys for success for each team and also the keys or maybe the reasons why they might not hit their expectations this year?
Yeah, will do, buddy.
Perfect.
I'll start here with who I think is probably going to win the division here. Probably start with the Buffalo Bills. Strength, they're the Buffalo Bills. Just who they are. They win. Regular season game, that is. With the likes of Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Von Miller, Gregory Rousseau, and I guess that bum Jordan Poyer in the back.
Okay.
But, they're a good team. One of their weaknesses, though, that I have 2 that I think could be a problem for them this year is going to be their offensive line and Josh Allen's red zone turnovers. He needs to quit trying to play that ball he does once he gets in the red zone there. He needs to go back to being the composed quarterback and knowing what to do with the football. I feel like these past 2 seasons, he's kind of just done the old Pat Mahomes, just Tyreek's over there somewhere. You don't have Tyreek Hill. And I think the last 2 years, combined, he has led the league in red zone turnovers with, I believe the number was like 51 or 52. And the next closest person was not that high. So he's had a few red zone turnovers, so he needs to knock that off. And their offensive line needs to get better.
I think that 51-52 is in his career.
I think it's the last 2 seasons.
That's nuts.
Yep. Ain't
Wow.
I think for them is how can you keep increasing that offensive firepower? The defense was pretty good. It struggles from injuries, right? You can't really, you can't do much about that. You got to figure out a way to win. But offensively, they've got Stephon Diggs, and that's kind of it. Gabe Davis took a step back. They let their tight end go, and they're going with a rookie.
Well, they still have Dawson Knox.
Kincaid. Did they take no? Oh, they do have Dawson Knox. They went with Kincaid, huh?
They still have
do.
both of them though.
Yeah. So, well, I'm curious on how that's going to work. I do agree, though. I think that they're going to win the division. I think they are. I want to say the most complete team, but they've got the most. I don't even know if they have the most firepower now with the Dolphins, but they're the proven winners in that division so far.
Yeah, and McDermott's taken over for defensive coordinator, and I do think that actually will help them out, especially obviously if they all stay healthy because they got a great DB core, good linebackers, and their defensive line is getting better.
My stat was wrong. Sorry, it's not red zone turnovers. It's red zone completion percentage.
Oh.
And his red zone
52 is nuts.
He has a 55% red zone completion percentage.
Wow.
And yeah,
Stop.
I was trying to look up his stat, but last year he had 19 turnovers, and then the year before that he had 18. He has a total of 80 turnovers in his career. So
Okay.
yeah, sorry, my stat was a little wrong, but in the same thing, needs to get better in the red zone
for sure.
Next, we'll move on to a team that's kind of being hyped up like a team from last year that we all know that I wasn't too high on. That was the Denver Broncos, but this year it's the New York Jets. Jets.
Jete.
Yes, Jets.
Yeah, the New York Jets, mate. I think one of their strengths is obviously someone who they kind of added in the offseason. A few people might know who he is, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, it could be Dalvin Cook. Yeah, some bum named A. Rodgers, whoever that guy is. Never heard of him. No, he's.
I don't even know how you won an MVP if no one's even heard of him.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Especially two of them. Well, four, technically. He's won four of them, but who's keeping track? Not me. So, yeah, Rodgers is a strength. Sauce Gardner's a strength. Quinton Williams is a strength. Garrett Wilson. Like, dude, beast. Yeah, their team's looking pretty good. Robert Saleh's got a nice little squad here rolling into the new season. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a strength for them. Their quarterback play is obviously going to be incredible compared to Zach Wilson, which wouldn't be hard to do. I think I could almost go out there and do what Zach Wilson did. So that's not going to be hard. But one of their weaknesses is, I mean, you can pretty much say this for almost any team in the NFL, but it's going to be the health on that offensive line, especially with Mekhi Becton. He needs to stay healthy, especially being the right tackle. No, left tackle, sorry. The left tackle is the important one for him, my bad. But still, being one of the tackles. And he can be a damn good one, but he just needs to stay healthy, and he never does.
Piggybacking off of that, you saw it on the Hard Knocks after their first preseason game or second preseason game. Saleh was, or no, it was in their joint practice. And they were getting pushed around, and Saleh was like, "We have all this talent, and it doesn't mean shit unless we can win in the trenches. We are getting bullied. Like, we need to want it. We have to change the culture that we want to win. Like, we expect to win."
Yep.
So that's a huge thing. Everybody said, that team's stacked. Like, it looks brilliant.
It does.
Can they just mesh it together? I don't know how Dylan's feeling, but I'm pretty sure that we all kind of feel the same way. We've talked about it a few times. That last year's team was the Denver Broncos, but we didn't really believe it. But we do kind of believe in Aaron Rodgers.
I believe in Aaron Rodgers a little more than Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think that team's going to be really good.
I do think the only thing that they can get themselves into just issues with is, I feel like, game management. And obviously it's the same coach from the Broncos, Nathaniel can't hack it. And I just wonder how are they going to handle situations? How is the offense actually going to be different? Is it actually going to be better? Those kinds of things. Because I think everyone recognizes the talent's there. It's just, is Nathaniel Hackett the guy that brought it all together before he left Green Bay? Or was it Aaron Rodgers? Or, was it, what's his name? LaFleur over there?
Prove it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's great when you're the offensive coordinator at the Packers, but the head coach there was really the runner of that offense. So, it's kind of people are assuming it's going to be the same old Green Bay stuff that you're going to see, but honestly, we still don't even know, and that's where I think things get tripped up for the Jets this year, if it does.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Next, we'll move on to the Miami Dolphins here. Here is where the right tackle truly matters. Having your left-handed quarterback in Tua.
Yeah, blindside.
Yep. So, but I mean, everyone knows as well that Dolphins are stacked, and I don't wish ill upon anybody, but I'm just glad Jalen Ramsey is not going to be playing just for a minute here. So I'm happy about that one because, yeah, they just had to have Jalen Ramsey, too, to this team of Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. What's it? What's I gotta look? Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
And then you got
Bradley
Xavier
Chubb.
Howard. Yeah, Bradley Chubb, Xavier Howard, Javon Holland. Like, bruh.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Christian Wilkins, right?
Yep, Christian Wilkins, amazing. And their center, Connor Williams, is pretty good too. And they also have Teron Armstead, who they added last year. So, I mean, everyone knows it's a stacked team. So that's a strength. It's just their team. And also Mike McDaniels, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
I get him and Josh confused. It's Josh Daniels and then
Josh
Mike
McDaniels.
McDaniels.
Mike McDaniels.
Josh. Oh, they both? No, they're not.
Yeah, they're both McDaniels.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Shows how much I hate that traitor.
Yeah, he's a snake for sure.
Yeah,
He'll be back.
Snake. He'll be back once he fails, just like he did in Denver. Weird. Denver and failing has a weird rhyme to it. They just always seem to line up together.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's another copy paste thing for one of their weaknesses is Tua has to stay healthy, and that also starts with the line just playing better. But Tua hopefully doesn't get concussions like he did last year. I mean, like I said, I don't wish ill upon anybody. I don't want to see him get too many this year or one too many again, and then he's out the league now because he's had 4 in the past, however many games. So it'd suck to see that happen to him. But hopefully he can stay healthy, make it competitive again because they were pretty good when he was playing those first, I think it's like 7 games or something. They were killing it. So, and that kind of ruined the rest of their season, him getting hurt. So him staying healthy is a big key. But it's also, yeah. I got sidetracked.
There you go.
Weakness, though, is a line. That is a weakness. Their line needs to be a little bit better. I mean, they have the Connor Williams and Teron Armstead, but Liam Eichenberg, I'm sorry, dog. You ain't really cutting it. And neither is Austin Jackson as the blindside tackle, who you took in the first round the past 3 years, has had a below a 60 grade on PFF. His highest was 57.9.
Wow.
And that was last year. So we saw what happened to Tua last year.
I'll piggyback on that line with their run game. Hopefully they can solidify a set thing because they don't have that like one featured back, and they kind of have like a committee of committee guys, not even like a second
True
punch
number
guy.
one.
Like, so hopefully they can get that run game going and help Tua. I do believe in Tua. Tua, for me, is just difficult watching because he makes it look difficult. Like he reminds me of like Phillip Rivers. Like it's just, I guess it's just the way he throws. For me, like it's just like, man, that looks difficult. But man, they're wide open. Those freaking racehorses and speed racers, bro. That team is just flat out speed. They're killing people. So I think that they are gonna replicate last year pretty easily.
Perfect. Dylan?
My thoughts on the Dolphins, is the Tua machine working? And I feel like if they got Tua going, they got Tyreek Hill going, I think that's kind of a given. Then everything else kind of just works in that offense after that. So I think that's just really the biggest concern is Tua, working that offense. I think he does a really good job when he does. When he's on the field, I guess, and he's, mentally there. He does a really good job. So, yeah, I think that's kind of where things hinge on. I think the only other thing is just their defense gets older and older every year, obviously, but, that defense has been kind of that way for a while, so it's kind of a tough ask to have them keep doing it every single year. So I don't expect them to be world beaters, but they're a team that can slip through, so I can't really look past them.
Oh, Michelle?
That leaves the true division winners left. The New England Patriots. Yeah, we're
Did you
coming
just
in
make up
last.
for Macoma for the last 4 years or something like that?
Why? What happened to Tom?
No, I'm just saying they haven't won anything in a long time.
Why? We still have Tom Brady. What do you mean?
No. Giselle left him, and he's retired.
What, you're saying Giselle's free right now?
He had 7 rings when he left the Patriots. Now he still only has 7 rings.
Wow. Nuts. But in all seriousness, yep, the Patriots are up next here. I think one of the strengths or keys to success for the Patriots is having an actual offensive coordinator this year.
Yeah, dude. That was a struggle.
And Bill O'Brien. Yeah, that was a struggle last year, wasn't it? But and then, he was the offensive coordinator for Mac Jones. I'm pretty sure the overlap was there at Alabama. And I've said in a previous video his stats, something like 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and I think 4 interceptions. But who remembers stuff like that? Or who's keeping track anyways? Definitely not me. But yeah.
Jalen Waddle to be on his team again.
Yeah. And Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs. And yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it? Or, D-Hop. That'd be swell as well.
Yeah, but you got Juju. That, is about equal.
You got Juju.
That was... Okay, we don't need
Dude's
to see
a bum. Dude's a bum. Get him out of here. I'm saying he'll be okay. And then one of our weaknesses is, once again, offensive line. And staying healthy, though, our offensive line is good. It can play good. We usually have around the top 10 offensive line in the NFL every year. But the one thing that just hurts us is injuries. So having the likes of Michael Onwenu stay healthy, David Andrews stay healthy, because if James Ferentz has to take one snap this year, I'm going to start a pistol.
Oh, gosh.
That dude is absolutely trash.
What about the draft pick that you were so happy about that they drafted the other year?
Oh, Cole Strange? He was absolutely not that great last year. I'm going to be quite honest. He really wasn't great. But once you're at the bottom, there's only one way you can go. And that's up. So hopefully he decides to go up and not out the league. So I guess we'll find out. But our offensive line is also getting pretty old, so that's a problem as well. We have the likes of Riley Reef, who is 43 and a half, I believe. He's not that old. I think he's 35. We got Trent Brown, who I believe is he's 30. David Andrews, who is 31. This Riley Reef would load. I'm pretty sure he's 32 or somewhere in that span. So 3 of our starters are over the age of 30. I know offensive linemen can play kind of long. The longevity is kind of nice, but they can also not play long. And then one of our weaknesses. Did I say that? Did I go over weaknesses already? Yeah, that's the offensive line. I just said, of course. Sorry. I'm all over the place today. I got a lot on my mind. What do you guys think of the Patriots? Division winners or what? I think I just made my point.
I do think that the Patriots still can be one of the best coached teams in the league, obviously with Bill Belichick there. Their defense is one of the top defenses in the league as well. They definitely know how to exploit weaknesses when they come across them and things like that. Christian Gonzalez makes a huge impact for that defense. But, the thing is the firepower on the Patriots is not what I would call NFL standard right now. I feel like they've kind of neglected their offensive line for a while. Their tight ends are Hunter Henry, Mike Gesicki, who had a lot of hype but haven't put a lot of, production up lately. Juju, he's, hasn't put up a lot of production lately. There hasn't really been anyone except for maybe Ramondre Stevenson who's been really solid. But even Ramondre Stevenson isn't your top flight running back that you see nowadays. He is really good, but he's just he's not in the tier of a Nick Chubb, Josh Jacobs, that kind of echelon. And so that offense, I'll be extremely impressed if Bill Belichick can make them a top 10 offense this year. That would be I'm not trying to put down the Patriots, but like that would be really impressive if Bill O'Brien was able to get Mac Jones to just unlock this offense in a completely different way.
That would be nice.
I think who is it? The number 11 wide receiver for you guys out of Baylor, Thornton. Yeah,
Tyquan Thornton. Yeah.
If you guys can get Tyquan Thornton to be the kind of threat that we thought he might be, that could really unlock this offense. But like, it's just it's just really tough to. I think the Patriots just haven't had an offensive direction for ever since Brady left, to be honest. So. I mean, it's an offensive league now. The Patriots, they'll always be a great defensive team, but it's just a matter of where the hell is this offense going to, what are they going to do this year? And that's really going to define their season more than anything.
Yeah, I agree. It's Mac Jones. I think this is the year if they find out if they're going for a new quarterback or if they're going to stick with him.
Yeah.
Because there's kind of like no excuses for him now. I take that back because I don't think they really set him up for success.
That's last year?
This year either. So
I mean, this year's team isn't horrible. I mean, we got Devontae Parker.
Thanks, Siri. I don't know if you guys just heard that, but Siri's telling me a bunch of stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
We got Juju. We got Kendrick Bourne. He's looking a lot better than last year.
I don't think you guys have like a wide receiver one, like a guy that you're just gonna turn to. You got a lot of capable wide receivers, but like it's just not like I don't know. It seems like you're not gonna have a guy that's just gonna beat someone.
No one's game planning specifically for one player.
Who would want D-Hop?
Yeah, for real.
Who would want that?
But how do you think this division rounds out? Are you pretty set on the Bills being number one?
Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots.
Yeah. Gage, do you disagree?
I'm kind of along that same line. I think that you could flip the Bills and the Jets, or even the Jets and the Dolphins. Like I think any of the top three are pretty good. I just don't think that the Dolphins would win the division.
Yeah, this is why I was saying that I think this is the conference that's going to have three divisional teams in the playoffs because they basically did last year, or at least were really close to. I forget what team it was or what division it was, if there was one, but I think the Jets take it, man. They have you got Sauce Gardner locking things down at an elite level. When you have a corner like that, you can go really far in the playoffs. So. In regular season games, obviously. So I'll take the Jets first, Bills, and then I think it's honestly a toss-up with the Patriots and Dolphins. I don't think the Dolphins cleared the Patriots by that much, just because they got some issues on their own that they're just not fully there.
You're putting a lot of faith in a guy that barely made it to staying on the field last year too.
Yeah,
as sad as it is.
But they do have Mike White, so
Oh fuck! Yeah, never mind. They might win it.
All right. Well, any other things here before we switch on over to the real division of the AFC?
West?
No.
Oh boy.
The AFC South.
If you guys tune out for now, I'd understand, but come back in about 10, 15 minutes. We'll be here for the AFC West.
Yeah, no, that's true. So this is my division. I'm proud of all these misfit toys here. I'm gonna do just as Mikey and Gage have done. I'm gonna kind of run this division here. I'll give you the keys, the strengths, the keys to their success, and the reasons why they might fail. And I'm gonna go in order of the graphic that I have up on here. That's not an indicator of where I think they are, but just for viewing experience, I think that's a little bit easier. I'm going to start off with the Jaguars.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Where's he going?
Okay. I got I'm going to try and really push this, but I was trying to get out of here at 6:30 and it's like almost 6:15.
Okay, you can keep talking. I'll be right back then.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Yeah. All right, so for the Jaguars, I'm like lagging on my end now. This is so
You're,
weird.
you're good on mine.
Okay. No, I think I caught up again. Okay.
Okay.
I'll wait for Mikey. Okay. All right. So for the Jaguars this year, I think their key for success is going to be, what Trevor Lawrence gets out of Calvin Ridley this year. I think we all kind of see the rest of the offense is pretty okay, and Trevor Lawrence is really kind of getting into his into what he was expected to be in the NFL. So I think that the key to the success there is what Calvin Ridley brings. Obviously, Christian Kirk was their kind of lead guy last year, but I don't think anyone really expected him to be that, the main guy that's going to take the main coverage and all that kind of stuff. I think Calvin Ridley is geared up to explode this year. So I think he's the real like hidden point for the success this year. And then for things that could kind of kick him in the butt this year and kind of bring them down, I guess, I would say is more just on finishing games, kind of being a complete team all in all. Doug Pearson did come in and kind of instill a lot of that, but they also have been a team of they kind of just fall apart sometimes. And so just kind of kicking the trend of what Jacksonville has been and just not, just kind of having what Robert Saleh was saying about the Jets, just expecting to win, that's going to really kind of shape, if their season ends up as, kind of a tank, I guess, if that makes sense. Like they got a lot of options to be successful. Trevor Lawrence is really going to drive that with Calvin Ridley. But if the team just doesn't believe in themselves and they just think they're in Jacksonville and they are the Jaguars, their season can tank.
I think with Trevor Lawrence, like everyone saw that playoff game and they're like hyped up, like they're going to be like that team. They're up and coming. And I agree with a lot of that. I do think, though, that just because he had that great second half cannot discredit that terrible first half.
No, that's fair.
And I think that, like, that's what you're saying about the Jaguars. Like, they're kind of hit or miss. I think that's the same thing. Like, can they keep it level? Because they're kind of like this right now. They're like the Chargers. They're just up and down, up and down, up and down constantly. There's no calm for them.
Yeah. Mike, any thoughts on the Jaguars here?
Calvin really looks good.
Yeah, no, dude, he looks like a killer right now, man. I mean that as a positive. Like he looks like he's gonna, he could be a top 10 wide receiver this year easily.
I'm hoping that he can fall to me in our
yeah, we'll see about that
in our fantasy draft. I think Dylan, you have a pick before me, huh?
We'll see.
So that.
Anyways, we're gonna move on over to the Indianapolis Colts here. That's my team. I take a lot of pride in the Colts, even though they haven't been real great for a while, actually. So, I would say the key to the success for the Colts, it would be really easy to say Anthony Richardson and just put it all on him. That would be really unfair to do with a rookie quarterback because if you're looking for him to save your whole season when he's only played 13 or 14 college football games, like you're not setting yourself up for success. So the thing I would say that would be the key to their success is avoiding what Frank Reich did to the Colts. And I say that because every single year we were 2-5 or 1-6 or maybe 3-1 or whatever. But when it came to Game 7, walking into Week 8 with just a terrible record because Frank Reich just had this thought of like, I'd rather be pushed up into a corner and fight my way out than just being a good team. I don't know why that was so hard for Frank Reich, but that's the reason in my eyes he got fired is because every single year we just came out with a weak result. And that's the key to the success for the Colts is having a strong first 5 games, I would say. And you don't have to win every single game. You don't have to be 5-0 to make it the playoffs or anything like that. But we haven't won an opening season game. We haven't won an home opener game as well. And I mean, we always lose to the Jaguars. Like things like that are the reason why Frank Reich got fired. And if Shane Steichen, with or without a rookie quarterback starting, and obviously he is starting, if they can go and be 500 by week 8, then we're going to be far and away better than what we were last year. And 4-2, 4. What am I trying to say here?
4-3.
4-3, 5-2, 6-1. Any of those ones would be awesome. I don't expect that, but if we can go out and do that this year, then our whole franchise is different. If we come out with a weak result again, it's just going to be another grinding year that just takes a lot of toll out of our players. So I think that's the biggest thing, I think, for keys to success and why we could fail. So I'm going to use one for both there.
I think it depends on what your standards are, on what you think is a success. I think with rookie quarterbacks, you guys, it's not going to be that Cam Newton year where you can make the playoffs. I don't think that's a fair thing to expect from quarterbacks. I think the key for success for them would be, showing improvement from, like what Dylan was saying, from Frank Reich to a different mentality with Shane Steichen, but then showing that like Anthony Richardson can be an NFL quarterback, because he's got all the tools, but I mean, he showed piss poor tape.
Yeah, he had highlights, but his tape's kind of rough.
So hopefully, hopefully they can put him in a good situation and help meld him for the future. If they can get him through the year without being absolutely just bombarded all game long, terrible game after terrible game, and destroy his confidence, I think that'll be really good for him. I do think that the Jonathan Taylor situation is not a good for them going into the season. I think that's kind of a big tell when you're trying to start this new regime, trying to start this new feeling, and your best player is like, I'm not playing.
I think that's more a reflection of the running back market than it is the Colts locker room and everything like that.
I'm not saying like the Colts locker room is bad. I'm saying it's bad for the locker room because he's doing that. But I absolutely think it's the running back paying thing. I don't think it's anything you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You're just trying to build this new regime, and your best player is not there, and that's terrible. And it would be really beneficial for Anthony Richardson to have a Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, for sure.
Helping him.
Mikey, any thoughts on the Colts?
Nope, that's what I was going to add. If Gage didn't, was the Jonathan Taylor thing. The key would be to try and hold on to him as long as you can.
Sorry, man.
Hey, no, it's all good. I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on with the Houston Texans here. I think the key to the success for them is, getting CJ Stroud comfortable, and I wouldn't say having to win a certain amount of games is going to be their benchmark this year, but I would say just having an offense that can, just produce against, the average NFL defense. Like, it was really hard watching the Texans last year just because they just didn't have the capable quarterback back there. So, they added a few things offensively to kind of help them out. I think Dameon Pierce coming back is huge for them. And then, their head coach kind of changing the culture is huge. And so I think CJ Stroud kind of provides early return on investment. I think he's going to be a quicker start to his NFL career than, say, Anthony Richardson. And I think that's going to be the key to them, basically not being in that Caleb Williams arena, which I don't think they'll be taking him. But I think the thing that can kind of kick them in the butt is just a hodgepodge of defensive players that just don't really fit one system or another, and just DeMeco Ryans making that all work. I think that's a tough task this year, and I think giving them one extra year, you're really going to see that defense turn into kind of closer to what the Niners and Jets are doing right now. But that is what's going to hold them back the most, is their defense, I think.
Mikey?
You can almost say the same thing for the Texans that like the Colts can. As far as you view success, is just making sure that CJ Stroud can improve this year and at least show that he can be in the NFL and be able to hang in there. So, especially when you put a high draft capital into a player like that, he was the second pick. So, making sure that your second round pick looks competent down there and that he's also in a good situation to succeed. So.
And I'll piggyback with that. That the offensive line needs to be more cohesive. Obviously, Larry Tunsil is incredible, but the rest of it's pretty lackluster, and you can see it in the preseason games. He's getting killed, and that's the worst way. Tim Couch for the Browns had no chance ever, and it's not his fault. And this could be another
David
situation.
Carr.
And Houston fans, I was going to say, and Houston fans would know
Andrew Luck.
they had the same problem. So that's the worst thing. Yeah, I was going to say, Andrew, like, you don't want to end up with a situation like that where you have a quarterback, but you can't do anything because you're not willing, like you haven't put the pieces in front of them to do it. Yeah. This is not basketball. It is an 11-person team, and all of them contribute, and they need to.
Yep. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans here. I would say the key to their success is that offensive line letting Derrick Henry open into the pasture and letting him just go for the end zone. That's what Derrick Henry does best. Everything else behind that, D-Hop is nice. Treylon Burks is nice. I like Kyle Phillips a lot myself. Chigo Okonkwo is a nice, young tight end. They got a lot of, just interesting pieces. They got a lot of veteran experience on the defense. They got good coaching. They're going to be a team that's kind of like the Steelers, where they just grind their way into a plus 500 record every year. But the thing that's going to hold him back is quarterback play. Ryan Tannehill, I don't think he's bad, but it's just, it's just everyone can tell there's a missing gear that top teams can get out of their quarterbacks. And Ryan Tannehill just doesn't have it. It's not going to be like Zach Wilson bad, but like it's going to be just like a hindrance to what they can do. But the reason for their success, I think, like I was trying to say, is their coaching. Just next man up mentality that they have there. I really respect. Yeah. They can bring a bum off the street and he's going to produce. So that's kind of the Titans. So I don't know. There's much more to say about them.
I know there's like a meme, like you go to the Titans as a receiver to like retire, kind of thing. But I think D-Hop's a different caliber of that. I mean, he is an elite wide receiver. He has been always. He wasn't like dropping off and is now going there. And he's a quarterback friendly receiver. Like, sure. You could just throw it to him if you need to, and he will make that attempts for you. Like Dylan's saying with Ryan Tannehill, what you're getting with him. You're just not going to go further in the playoffs, I think. But I do think that they could win that division.
Yeah. Mikey, anything?
No, I got nothing to add on this one.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to go and say I think that the Jaguars kind of earned the respect to say they're probably going to win the division right now. Obviously, I think the Colts can come and take it, but I'm not gonna be overly biased on this.
Such a homer.
I think the Texans are I think they're a year away from putting in real contention. They got a lot of work out and see with offense and defensive things. I just don't see them being cohesive this year and really on the money and putting out a 10+ win season. So.
And I think that's fair. I think everyone knew it. They were really void of talent, and they stocked up on draft picks and cap space. So
yeah, and then the Colts and the Titans are going to be kind of the I think the Titans are going to be the two right now, but the Colts, all it takes is Anthony Richardson really being a threat. If we have that threat at quarterback, I think it just will make everything else work. And the Colts had a top 10 defense last year. Obviously, that's subjective. You can probably bring out some different metrics, but they had, I think, one of the most sacks of last year, and they had a really good defense that they're bringing a lot of those same players back. So, things can happen, but I'm going to go Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. Anyone disagreeing with that?
I wouldn't say disagree. I think I would argue that the Titans could. I think they've been kind of disrespected, and they're going to use that. That just seems like a Vrabel and Tennessee Titan thing to do. You're like, okay, watch.
That's fair.
But that's just like a good gut feeling. I think the Jaguars are a better team. So
yeah. Well, Mikey.
Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans.
Yep, same
Perfect.
thing.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Now on to the AFC West. This is a division that the reigning Super Bowl champs are in. So, some stiff competition up in there. We got the Raiders, we got the Broncos, we got the Chargers, and we got the Chiefs. A lot to talk about here. We're going to start with the Broncos. Mikey has offered his services to be our local expert on this team. He's a real big fan and supporter of the Broncos. So he's going to give you the keys to their success this year and, maybe a reason why they might fail. And then we're going to go with the Chargers next. That's going to be Gage. I'm going to take over the Raiders for this year. And then because they're the Super Bowl champs, we're all going to just talk about the Super Bowl champs together. And we'll break down the division, kind of rank them, and how we think the division's going to look like at the end of the year. But Mikey, pop us off real quick with the Broncos.
It'd be my pleasure to do so. Now, I know Broncos fans from last year, you guys came for my neck. But look who was right.
This guy.
Me.
That guy.
No, I'm coming at it again. Here we go. Just kidding. The keys to success for the Denver Broncos are going to be staying healthy, especially at the offensive line and that defensive line. Being able to protect that bum of a quarterback. I mean, Russell Wilson. Being able to protect Russell Wilson would be just amazing for them to do. Giving him more time to be able to make better decisions and be decisive rather than operating from a place of fear in the pocket, which he's known to do because they suck. They're just not that great right now. They're kind of rebuilding. And then running the ball well on first and second down to make manageable conversions. Weren't really good at doing that last year. Javonte Williams going down wasn't that great. So being able to run the ball and give Russ some more time in the pocket would be great. Sorry, my dog opened the door. It scared me. And then on some weaknesses is the depth, and a lot of areas are pretty subpar compared to teams, which makes the playoffs. And a lot of players are coming off poor seasons and season-ending injuries. So just trying to get back to a winning culture, which they also don't have, trying to establish one of those. And I think Sean Payton is a pretty good man at winning. So we'll see what he can do with that locker room and see if he can pump Russ up, make these guys want to win some football games. Because he's such a corny dude. But that's my little takedown on the Broncos there. All jokes aside, I still I'm not too high on them, but we'll save that for the end.
Yeah. Well, that leaves me coming up with the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers, and formerly, pretty stupid, but I know we always say it, but there are some teams that struggled a lot more than others did last year, and the Chargers were one of them with injuries. It was kind of riddled with them. And it also, Justin Herbert kind of got hurt and then played hurt for a majority of last year with his ribs. So just kind of trying to stay a little bit healthy. They're in a phase where they kind of, as a fan base, expect to make the playoffs. You kind of expect it just talent wise. So like, how can they get to that next step of winning? And I think that making sure that their main guys stay healthy will be a big part of that. The next big thing, coaching, both sides of the ball. Their defense last year was kind of putrid, rather underperformed for the talent that they have and possess back there. So Brandon Staley needs to figure out a way to get that defense rolling the way that they should. It's loaded with talent, so there's really no reasons why they should expect anything less than above average. And last year they were kind of average to below average. Specifically the run defense. If they get gouged down the middle every dang time, I mean, as a Browns fan, I know this because teams would you wanted to run the ball down the middle, you're getting 5 yards minimum. Like you've got to be able to stop the run, otherwise you will not get off the field. And when teams figure that out, they abused it. Second, coaching. Offense was the new one, Kellen Moore. If you guys don't know, big Boise State fan over here. I don't have my helmet here, but I've got a signed helmet with a bunch of guys on it. It's pretty cool. But I got my dad a signed Kellen Moore jersey. It's pretty sweet. Kellen Moore is a genius. Okay, this guy was quite literally as athletic as any Joe Schmo, and he was the most winningest quarterback in college football because he is just incredibly smart. The Cowboys blamed a lot of crap on him when it really wasn't his fault, and I think that Justin Herbert's going to excel this year. We've talked about it a little bit, but I think that Mike Williams and Quentin Johnson are going to exceed even more on this offense because of their wide receiver type, their body type. Kellen Moore had a wide receiver, Austin Pettis, and just knew how to get him the ball and get him open in college, and I think that can succeed with those guys as well. And then another one was their special teams. Last year, it cost them quite a few games. So if they can get that just to be a consistent unit, it doesn't have to be spectacular. Special teams, you just want it to not lose you games. And when it's doing that, there's a problem. So if they can get it to a part where they're not losing games, I think they'll be much better.
All right. Well, I will take that and run with the Las Vegas Raiders. No, all jokes aside, the Raiders are a team that has been wanting to break into the playoffs for a long time. I sadly was a part of the Raiders having their best season and then losing Derek Carr. I was in the stadium when the Colts broke his leg. Honestly, it was one of our defensive linemen that we didn't even like. So I felt bad for the Raiders that year, which I don't normally do. But this year, we don't have Derek Carr. We don't have a lot of what the Raiders have had since then. So I would say the biggest key for success with the Raiders is getting something out of either Jimmy Garoppolo or Aiden O'Connell, because I think O'Connell is going to be the one that finishes the year as the starting quarterback for the Raiders.
He's from Purdue, ain't he?
Yes, he's from Purdue. I only say that because Jimmy G's health is such a question mark, but we can talk about their defense and what they need to do, and that's all great. But really, it's just what can you get out of a quarterback this year, and can you develop players beyond Max Crosby? Please just develop players beyond Max Crosby. So if they can get some stuff out of there, they've had some good defensive draft picks and stuff like that. They just have not developed. That's a big thing that they just need to do. But I would say the biggest thing for them is they got weapons. They got Max Crosby. They got a lot of people on that defense that relatively could make an impact. Now it's just all about, can we put points enough on the board to compete with the Chiefs, the Chargers. Even the Broncos have a better offense. So, they have an uphill battle this year, but really, if they can get this offense clicking somehow, that's going to be their way to get wins this year. I'm not expecting a lot out of them because, honestly, Jimmy G and Aiden O'Connell is not thrilling to look at. I think the reason why they might fail at what they are trying to do this year, I would say their defense, I think, is something that's really going to hold them back if they are just the same old defense. They were not able to hold on to leads. They were not able to kind of mount a whole lot of comebacks. So, when you get outcoached by Jeff Saturday off of the ESPN bench, kind of hard to say that you're a good coach. So I would say those are the keys for success. Offensive, just functionality, getting that out, Devontae Adams, all that good stuff. And then what can hold them back is that defense just not gelling, not getting into the gear enough to fight off against the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos. So, that's kind of the Raiders to me. But like we said, we're going to be talking as a group about the Chiefs. The biggest thing this year for them is they lost Eric Bieniemy. They lost their 2 tackles, replaced them with some just weird tackles. But I mean, other than that, I feel like they're relatively the same team. They got some exciting young rookies, but other than that, I think we all kind of expect them to be the top dogs.
I was gonna question. Do they have a weakness? Like, is there something that like the Chiefs have that are like a glaring thing that like they need to worry about? Because like I just feel like they just tackles. But then with Patrick Mahomes, like before last year, I mean, he didn't have great tackles, and
last year his tackles were better than the year that they lost
the Super Bowl,
the Chiefs or the Bengals, I guess, because
the not in the Super Bowl. You're talking about. Okay.
Well, they lost to the Bengals. The Bengals were able to disrupt Patrick Mahomes pretty easily, and those tackles are like, I don't think their tackles are even that good this year now. So, I mean, like Patrick Mahomes can overcome a lot, but the right team can take out Patrick Mahomes if he doesn't have good enough tackles, I think.
Yeah. Another thing I'd say is running game. That's probably one of their weaknesses is the running game. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco he had a good rookie campaign, but it's are you going to give him the keys to the car in a sense is what I'm trying to say. Like, is he going to be the guy? Is he the guy in the backfield?
Well, they also got Clyde Edwards,
McKinnon, right?
And Jarek McKinnon. Yeah, they still got a stall, but I think Pacheco should be their main runner. I love watching.
I hope so. Yeah.
And McKinnon killed it out of the backfield, like
for real.
James White role. Is that his name? James White, the old Patriots player.
Yeah.
Guy just pissed everyone off and just would score crap all the time.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out Jarek McKinnon, though. Helped me win a couple fantasy games last year and pushed me into the playoffs and keep my playoff run going, baby.
Yeah, that was BS.
Key for success for the Chiefs, obviously, it's going to be just Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelce just owning everyone in the league over and over again. The only reason that they might fail is when they get into the playoffs and they're facing great defensive lines. Do those tackles hold up? I think that's kind of where I would say.
And then how important was Bieniemy to that offense? Is that going to be a visible step back? Or was he just a cog in the wheel and it really is just Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, running that shiz?
Because he was really specializing in running backs, right? Like, not that he didn't input in the offense, but like that's kind of where his specialty was. I think that you'll still be the same. Andy Reid was still calling plays, so
that's what I think. I just think it's like I just think they're the easiest team to. They're going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah,
they're going to be like the Patriots. Like what you're going to get every year, and like, oh yeah, you've got a little bit weaker right here, but it's freaking Tom Brady. Who cares?
Yeah,
they'll be good.
Well, so their weapons obviously is Travis Kelce. I really like Kadarius Toney. They were really trying to get him the ball a lot when they traded for him, and it showed up big time in the Super Bowl. What?
Yeah, he is right now.
Yeah, he's injured again.
Oh, wow.
I guess a fun question since we're doing that. Justin Ross, does he play?
I was just going to mention
minutes for that. Yeah,
I hope so. I hope he does because he is a freaking beast.
Well, I hope he doesn't because he's a freaking beast. But
I know, but I want to see him play because I wanted like the Patriots to get him somehow and pick him up, even though he had like the whole back problem and
that'd be a cool fun
going in the draft and stuff. But
that'd be a fun comeback story.
I think Rashee Rice will be interesting to watch too because I didn't really love him all that much.
SMU, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so that's the AFC West here. I think everyone here is going to go Chiefs, Chargers, then Raiders, Broncos. Kind of like they kind of suck.
I'll give it to the Broncos. They've got an actual head coach that's won something in his career.
Right.
No, I'll give it that.
And they got Pat Surtain balling out. So
true.
Yeah, Surtain's he's a beast.
Legit.
Well, okay. So we're gonna go as a channel, as of right now, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. If you hate that, obviously you gotta throw it in the comments so that we can fire back too. But if you stuck to the end of this whole video, the whole hour and odd amount of minutes, we really appreciate you. I don't expect many people to do that, but if you did, that's really awesome. But But drop a like, drop a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're a small channel looking to grow, so anything helps. Thank you, and enjoy the football season. Any last words?
No, dude. Good luck. I can't wait. You got a couple more weeks, and then we got some real life stuff coming back.
Bang, bang, bang.
Stuff to be excited about.
Mikey?
I got nothing but peace out.
Deuces.
Deuces.